Hey there, Dan Fisher here with Menemsher Group. I hope you're doing well. In this video, I want to share with you some lessons learned and some insights that I've picked up over the years from working with hundreds of different staffing companies. Specifically, I want to talk about what it is about high growth market leading staffing firms and what it is about their business model that enables them to continue to beat the market as compared to laggard staffing organizations and their business model and why they struggle to keep pace with the growth of the rest of the industry. So over the last 11 years or so, I've worked with about 450 different staffing firms, and I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time on the sales floor and the recruiting floor, working with training and coaching reps and recruiters. One of the really interesting things I've learned from working with laggard organizations is the first thing you notice is there's a lot of variance from rep to rep and recruiter to recruiter with regards to how they sell. In short, each rep and each recruiter really operates in their own little silo or fiefdom. So they all follow their own unique steps. They engage only in the activities that they're comfortable with, and they use their own messaging when they engage candidates or clients. What's also interesting is there's very little to no knowledge share taking place rep to rep and recruiter to recruiter. So it's literally like walking into the wild, wild west. Every rep is doing their own thing, following their own process with their own messaging. Same thing on the recruiting side. And what we find kind of the net result of all this inconsistency is you have inconsistent results. So each rep is inconsistent in what they deliver on a monthly basis, same with each recruiter. And then, of course, on the P&L statement for the owner, revenue is going up and down. So there's really no consistency in that. And the other thing is really all this inconsistency creates a lot of unpredictability. So you can't create an accurate, let alone a credible sales revenue forecast. And probably the most important thing of all, especially for those that are really looking to build a business that achieves scalable and exponential growth, is overall team quota attainment, that the achievement of quota attainment is far, far lower than what you see in market leading organizations. Now, in working with market leading staffing firms, see a completely different picture. So what you see there is the first thing that I think of is continuity. So there's a high degree of continuity across the entire sales team and across the entire recruiting team. What I mean by that is the sales team and the recruiting team, they're all executing against a common process. They're following a common methodology, and they're all taking to the marketplace a common message. So there's very little variance, rep to rep and recruiter to recruiter. And it's this very consistency that serves as the backbone for these market leaders and their business model. In fact, it's this consistency that enables them to achieve scalable, exponential growth, and in some cases, predictable revenue growth. So how do they do it? How do they actually get there? Well, they focus on two things: building capacity and building capability. So what I mean by that is staffing leaders should really be spending their time building out internal organizational systems, processes, and capabilities. And here's why that's important. Your revenue growth is the output of your processes, systems, and capabilities. And if you want to truly scale and really achieve exponential growth, staffing leaders or staffing firms really need to invest the time in developing the internal capability of improving sales effectiveness and improving sales results. So what does that mean, sales effectiveness? Well, all it means is selling more revenue in a shorter time frame. It means increasing revenue or gross profit attainment per sales rep and per recruiter. Well, how do you do that? Well, it's what you want to do is staffing leaders want to focus on defining the specific selling skills and recruiting skills and behaviors and processes that will enable their salespeople and their recruiters to produce the best results in the most efficient way possible. And here's the beauty of it. When you invest in developing the capability of sales effectiveness and recruiting effectiveness, you can track and you can measure it. Let me give you an example. Pretend that I have 3 sales people working for me. I'm a sales manager. The quota for each rep is 500K. Rep 1 produces 600K. Rep 2 produces 300K, and Rep 3 produces 200K. That's a total of 1.1 million. Now, when I look at that overall as a sales effectiveness and overall team quota attainment, that's only about 74% of overall team quota attainment. Here's why tracking that's important, though. If I've taken the time to build out the capability and I define the selling skills and the processes to follow, I can then make tweaks and invest more time and energy in improving those processes, improving the training and coaching that my reps receive, and I can make an impact organizationally wide to enable my organization to grow and to scale. Much more effective doing it that way versus the wild, wild west approach. And here's my last point. The most effective way, the most powerful way for staffing firms to build a scalable, high growth business model is actually to invest in developing the internal capability of improving sales effectiveness and recruiting effectiveness. And the reason is simple. It's going to actually reduce your customer acquisition costs, and it enables you to increase revenue growth without having to add additional overhead. So I hope you find those insights helpful. If you want to chat, if you have questions, I love talking about this stuff. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. And if there's anything I can do to help, again, just reach out to me.